Still skipping eggs because you're scared of cholesterol? What if I told you the real danger to your heart isn't eggs or liver, it's what you've been told about them? Hi, everybody. My name's Marc Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and this is part of my question and answer series. Are eggs and liver dangerous for seniors? The truth about cholesterol and heart disease. Okay, let's get to the question. This protocol sounds comprehensive, but I imagine many seniors might be concerned about the cholesterol from all those eggs and the saturated fat from organ meats. How do you address these concerns, and what does the current research actually show about these foods in relation to cardiovascular health in older adults? Well, that's a great question and an excellent concern, and one that many older adults and even their physicians still hold due to decades, and I mean decades, of outdated dietary guidelines. But the science has dramatically shifted, and the fear of cholesterol and saturated fat, especially from whole foods like eggs and liver, is not supported by the current evidence. So let's address this in two parts. Okay, so part one, cholesterol in eggs and organ meats. What really happens? Well, so the myth is that dietary cholesterol raises blood cholesterol and causes heart disease. Here's the reality. For most people, about 75 to 85% of everybody, dietary cholesterol has little to no effect on blood cholesterol. These are known as hyporesponders. And the truth is, for most people, once again, your liver produces much more cholesterol than you'll ever eat. Okay? All right? In hyperresponders, that 15 to 25% that's left, dietary cholesterol can raise both LDL and HDL, but without increasing cardiovascular risk because the LDL particles tend to be large and buoyant, not the small, dense type associated with atherogenicis. Okay? Whole eggs and liver also increase HDL, that improves LDL particle size, and have no adverse effects on triglycerides or inflammatory markers in studies. Some particular ones of note is the Framingham Offspring study from 1997 showed no association between egg intake and coronary artery disease, even at 1+ eggs a day. Zhong et al. In JAMA, no significant association between egg consumption, even up to 1 a day, and all-cause or cardiovascular mortality. And the Diet Fitch trial in 2018, when people ate more saturated fat from whole foods, including eggs, there was no rise in CVD risk markers, and many had improvements in HDL and insulin sensitivity. Okay, part two, right? Saturated fat from whole foods, is it dangerous or misunderstood? So that's a myth. Saturated fat clogs arteries and can cause heart attacks, right? And we've heard this from our doctors. I have for years. The reality, this belief came from the now discredited diet heart hypotheses rooted in selective epidemiology, not solid evidence. Recent large-scale reviews have found no causal link between saturated fat and heart disease, particularly from unprocessed human animal sources like eggs, liver, red meat, and dairy. The Pure study in 2017, published in Lancet, showed a prospective urban-rural epidemiological study, 135,000 people across 18 countries. Higher saturated fat intake was associated with a lower risk of stroke and no increased risk of heart disease. Okay? 2020, a Cochrane review, which is a meta-review, showed reducing saturated fat had no significant impact on total mortality or cardiovascular death. Any minor LDL reductions did not translate into better outcomes, and results did not hold when saturated fat was replaced with refined carbs or seed oils. Okay? There was a British Medical Journal meta-analysis in 2015. No evidence that saturated fat is associated with heart disease, and replacing saturated fat with refined carbs or polyunsaturated seed oils actually worsens the risk. All right. So, why eggs and liver improve your heart health in context? Eggs contain choline, right? Eggs and liver both contain choline. It's essential for methylation, reduces homocysteine, a cardiovascular risk factor. Retinol in vitamin A supports endothelial integrity. That's the lining of your arteries, veins, right, stomach, and reduces inflammation. CoQ10, which comes from liver, and also beef heart, by the way. Beef heart's wonderful. Supports heart, muscle, energetics, and reduces oxidative stress. Taurine, found in both eggs and liver, lowers blood pressure, improves vascular tone. Omega-3s, found in eggs and liver, antithrombotic and anti-inflammatory. B12, folate, and riboflavin support nitric oxide, methylation, and mitochondrial function. Rather than clogging arteries, these foods help restore the vessel wall, lower inflammation, and optimize lipid metabolism. Okay? What about seniors specifically, right? For those of us over 60, like me. Aging adults are more vulnerable to nutrient deficiencies, especially B12, choline, retinol, and iron, all mentioned in the previous slide. All of these are abundant in eggs and organ meats and beef and red meats, especially beef, right? Beef and lamb. These nutrients are cardioprotective, and studies show egg consumption in seniors improves HDL and reduces insulin resistance. Choline deficiency increases the risk of NAFD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and arteriosclerosis. High protein and fat diets improve satiety, glycemic control, and lean mass preservation. All reduce the cardiovascular risk. Eggs and cardiovascular risk in the elderly, 2016 study published in Nutrients. Egg consumption is not associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease in healthy older adults and may improve nutrient adequacy. Okay? So, what is a concern? What are the real villains? So, the real villains in our story here are seed oils, omega-6 PUFAs, canola, soybean, etc. They're oxidized LDL and endothelial stress when you use these in your diet. Refined carbs and grains, elevated triglycerides and elevated insulin in your bloodstream. Chronic inflammation, right? This inhibits nitric oxide and builds plaques, right? Sarcopenia, right? That's muscle loss. Reduces metabolic reserve, and nutrient-poor diets depletes mitochondrial defenses. The true risk isn't eggs or liver. It's nutrient-devoid, ultra-processed, seed oil-based food-like substances. Okay, so here's the bottom line. This is a heart-healthy plate for seniors. Okay? Not egg whites, toast, and margarine. That's ridiculous. Chicken breast and low-fat yogurt. Once again, absolutely no fat in that. It's terrible. Heart-healthy cereals and seed oils, well, those are just processed junk, okay? But 3 whole eggs plus beef liver sauteed in ghee, absolutely excellent. Sardines, lamb shoulder, bone broth, beautiful. And raw milk, cheese, avocado, and fermented veggies. If you want to get some veggies in your diet, there you go. It does work. This isn't risky. It's reparative. All right? So, thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the appropriate section. Let me know of anything you want me to do. This is a community. I'm here to try to give you the answers you're looking for. Let me know what you want me to cover. And as always, if you haven't done so, please like, share, subscribe this with a friend, because this channel, it's good for the channel and it helps a lot of people. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much.